have the same details, right? So I mean, we will try to derive the entire thing, but just for simplicity's sake, I'll just repeat the entire part once more. So we were given that the cache size is 16 KB. Okay, so cache size we know is 16 KB. So we'll try and represent that, but in the power of 2. 16 KB essentially comes out to the power 14. Okay, 2 to the power 4 is 16, and kilobyte is 2 to the power 10. So adding up, 2 to the power 14. Next, we are given that the block size is 256 bytes. Now, as for direct and associative mapping, we know that each block gets mapped to one cache line. So block size and cache line size are essentially the same. And block size and cache line size are represented as 2 raised to the power of W, where W is the number of bits that is occupied by the word. So address bit is essentially made up of 3 parts. You have a tag, you have a line, and a word for direct mapping. Right? So the word occupies W bits, the line occupies R bits, and the tag occupies S minus R bits. Okay. So the W bits that is present for the word, it can be actually used to represent the number of lines, the size of the cache line or the size of the memory block, which is equal to 2 to the power W. So since we were given that the memory block size is 256 bytes, then we can represent it as 2 to the power 8, and hence we get that the value of W is 8. Okay. Next, we have the cache blocks. We have the cache size and the cache line size. So if we have the cache and the cache line size given, we can easily find the number of lines in cache. So that is the cache size 2 to the power 14 divided by the cache line size 2 to the power 8, which gives us 2 to the power 6. Now, from the properties of associative mapping, we know that the number of lines in cache can essentially be represented as 2 to the power R, where R is the number of bits required to represent the line. Right? So here we get to the number of cache lines is 64. It is 2 to the power 6, and that essentially becomes equivalent to 2 to the power R. So we get R equal to 6. That is the number of lines required to represent the number of bits required to represent the line becomes 6. So we have W equals to 8. We have R equal to 6. Now in the beginning, now here also we have the size of the main memory. The size of the main memory is 128 KB. So representing it as a power of 2, we get 2 to the power 17. 128 is 2 to the power 7, and KB is 10, right? 2 to the power 17. So from the property of direct mapping, we know that the number of addressable units or the main memory is essentially 2 raised to the power of S plus W. So the total size of the entire address bits is the power factorial of what is being raised to the power of 2 for the main memory size. So you can represent main memory 128 KB as 2 to the power 17. So you require 17 bits to address the entire memory. So your S plus W, the entire length of this entire thing, becomes 17. Okay. So out of 17 bits, you have already obtained that line occupies 6 bits, word occupies 8 bits. So total 14 bits are already been occupied. The remnant that is there, which is 17 minus 14, those 3 bits will be required by the tag for its purpose. Right. This is how we determine the entire tag, line, and word bit size. Okay. Now, the second part of the question was, what is the tag directory size? So I think, I think Anand asked, what is the tag directory size? So tag directory size is essentially a space allocated which is specifically used by the tag across the entire cache. So each cache line, in our example, each cache line is having 3 bits allocated to the tag. So across 64 lines, you have 64 times 3 bits that is being allocated only to the tag. So that 192 bits, which is 64 into 3, 192 bits are allocated specifically for the tag. If you convert it into bytes, that becomes 24 bytes, which is being shown here. I hope that's clear. Right, moving on to the next problem. We have a similar, we'll just write all the things here, right? So we'll see whatever data is available to us, and we will write these things here. So consider just a direct map cache of 512 KB. So we have the size of the cache as 512 KB, right? We have the cache size of 512 KB with a block size of 1 KB. So we have a block size of 1. I should have used Microsoft Excel for this. So we have block size of 1 KB, right? So we'll represent all of these into power of 2 first. So 512 KB essentially becomes 2 to the power 19, right? And block size of 1 KB becomes 2 to the power 10, right? So from the first 2 given data points, we can find out that the cache size is given as 2 to the power 19, okay? and the block size is given as 2 to the power 10. So from here, since the block size is equivalent to 2 to the power W, we can find that W is equal to 10 bits, sorry. So we can find W is equal to 10. Okay, I removed the other things here. Right? So W is 10. Now we need to find the number of cache lines. We have the cache size given, we have the cache line size given, right? So if we divide the entire cache size by the line size, we get the number of cache lines. So here we have 2 to the power 19, which is the cache size, divided by 2 to the power 10, which is the cache line size, and we get 2 to the power 9, which is 512 bits of cache, 512 lines of cache. Now from the property of direct mapping, we know that 2 to the power 9, or the number of cache lines here, is equivalent to 2 to the power r, where r is the number of bits used to represent the line. From here we can identify that r becomes 9. Right? R becomes 9. Now we have been given that there are 7 bits in the tag. Right? There are 7 bits in the tag. So we don't have to find the tag bit size. It's already been given to us. So if we add all these three, right? If we add all these three, so we can see that the total comes up to 26. So we know S plus that is the total number of bits used to address the entire memory. That becomes 26. So the main memory size will be equivalent to 2 to the power 26. That is 64 megabytes. Right? Memory to address the 26 bits to address the memory. 7 bits given for the tag is given in the question itself, right? 7 bits in the tag. Okay. From the cache size and the cache line size from the block size, we got that W equals to 10. Okay. From the cache size and the line size, we divided and found out the number of cache lines. Right? So we got the value of R, which is the number of bits used to represent the line. We got it as 9. So we got tag 7, we got line 9, and we got word 10. So in total we got 26 bits to represent the entire address bit, right? So based on that, we can raise that to the power of 2 and find the size of the total memory. 2 to the power 26 means 64 megabytes. 2 to the power 20 is megabytes, and 2 to the power 6 means 64.
Rudra, give a gap in between. Give a gap in between. Give a pause. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. When you say pause, you mean where? Can you please specify that? I mean, am I going too fast?
No, I mean, yeah. That's the pause. Yeah. Right. Just give the screen a minute.
All right. Sure. So I'll just repeat that part. So based on the tag bits, based on the line bits, and based on the word bits, we found that the total size of the entire address bit is 26. Right? So based on what we know, that if we raise the total number of bits required to address the memory line to the power of 2, we can get the size of the main memory. Here we'll raise 26 to the power of 2, and we'll get 64 megabytes, which will be our main memory size. Okay. This is the main memory size. Right. If we go to the main problem, we'll check how they have derived. So they have given tag is 7 bits. Okay, we found out that similar in the PPT, right? Tag is 7 bits given in the problem. They found word, which is the block line offset, which is 10 bits. We found the same as well. W is 10. Okay, how we found it out? W is 10 because the block size is 2 to the power 10, right? Yes, we found it out like this. Okay. Next, we need to find the line. We need to find the line number. That is, we need to find R. How they will find R? They will find R by find out the total number of lines in cache. We have the total cache size. Okay, 119 is the cache size by the size of each cache line. To the power 10, to the power 9. That gives us R, which is 9. So it's the same thing they have found out here. total number of address bits becomes 26, and that when they raise it becomes 64 megabytes is the answer of our main memory. Okay, I hope that's clear. The second part of the question we have was, what is the tag directory size? So from the previous example as well, we know the tag directory size is basically the size in the entire cache that is allocated specifically to the tag, right? So in our example, we have the total number of cache lines as 2 to the power 9, right? We have cache lines 2 to the power 9, which is 512. 2 to the 1 is 512, right? And we have the tag has 7 bits. The tag directory size will essentially be my tag bits multiplied by my number of cache lines. Okay, these many bits. And if you divide the entire thing by 8, you get these many bytes. Okay, so that becomes 64 into 7. Okay. Okay, so we have 448 bytes. Yes, not bytes. Yeah, 448 bytes there. We have 448 bytes as the tag directory size. Hope that's clear as well. Okay. We'll check the solution. The main memory we got 64 MB. The tag directory size is the number of lines in the cache multiplied by the bit size of each bit of the tag value, right? The tag part. That becomes 512 into 7 bits, or divided by 8 becomes 448 bytes, which we got here. Okay, is that clear? I will take that as yes, unless I specify. Problem 3. So I think what we'll do is we'll just write down the main problem. Right. So the problem 3 states it's a direct map cache with a block size of 4 KB. We'll write down all the details here. With a block size of 4 KB. Okay. Now 4 KB can be written as 2 to the power 12. 4 to the power 2 multiplied by kilobyte to the power 10. That becomes 2 to the power 12. So from here we can find out W, right? W becomes 12. I don't know my value of S plus W as of now. I don't know the value of R. I don't know the value of S minus R. I only know W as of now. Okay. The size of the main memory is 16 gigabytes. Okay. Size of the main memory 16 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes can be written in the power of 2 as 2 to the power 34. 1 gigabyte is 10 to the power 30. 16 is 2 to the power 4. That becomes 2 to the power 34. Okay. So my entire address bit length S plus W becomes 34. Out of this 34, I have the value of W, right? And in the question they have given me, there are 10 bits in the tag. So I have the value of S minus R as well. Okay. So out of 34 bits, 10 have been occupied by the tag, 12 by the word. Total 22 bits have already been occupied, right? The remaining 12 bits will be allocated to the line. Okay, will be allocated to the line. So using that, first we need to find the size of the cache memory, right? We have R here. Now from the property of direct mapping, we know that R raised to the power of 2 gives the number of lines in the cache, right? Total number of cache lines, okay? Total number of cache lines is 2 to the power R. Since we have R here, which becomes 2 to the power, value of R is 12. 2 to the power 12, that is 4k. The total number of cache lines is 4k. Okay, first part is done. The second, not the first part, the number of cache lines we have found, right? And we have been given the block size. Block size is 4 KB. The block size is equal to the cache line size as well, right? This is the property of direct and associative mapping. Each block gets mapped to each line, cache line. So the block size is given here. So if you multiply the block size with the number of cache lines, then we can easily find out the total number of bytes in the cache, which is the cache size. So the block size 2 to the power 12 multiplied by the cache line size is 2 to the power 12 as well. Okay, so that becomes 2 to the power 24, which is 4 megabytes. Is that part clear? Yeah. Is that part clear?
Clean the cache size in one.
Yes.
I didn't get it. Can you come again?
The cache size thing, right? How did you multiply 4 KB into 4?
Right. So the block size is given, right? So if you check the question, the block size is 4 kilobytes, correct? The block size is equal to the cache line size. Block size equal to the cache line size, which is 4 KB. Okay. Now we found out the value of R. R is 12, tag is 10, W is 12. W we found out from the block size, right? 4 KB is 2 to the power 12. So W is 12, right? Since W is 12, 12 plus N is 22. Out of 34 bits, 22 have been taken by the tag and the word. The remaining 12 bits are for the line, which is R. So the value of R is 12. Now 2 raised to the power of R is the number of lines in the cache. 2 to the power 12 is 4k lines. That means 4 into 1024. So we have 4 into 1024 number of lines present. Now the number of cache lines multiplied by the cache line size will give you the size of the cache. I have multiplied 2 to the power. I'll just remove this one. Maybe this is causing confusion. So this first part 2 to the power 12 is the number of lines in the cache. The second 2 to the power 12 is the size of the cache line. That is 2 to the power 24, which is 4 megabytes. Oh, sorry, 24. Sorry, not 4 megabytes, 16 megabytes. 22 is 4 megabytes, 16 megabytes. Right? I hope that is clear.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Makes sense, right? Yeah. The second part of the question we have, so we found the cache memory, right? The cache memory we found. Now the tag directory size. Okay, so the tag directory size we know the number of bits in the tag is given, right? 10. So we have 10 bits in the tag. So the tag directory size is basically 10 multiplied by how many cache lines you have. The number of cache lines you have is 4 into 1024. Right? 4k to the power 12. Right? So if you divide this entire thing by 8, you will get the byte size. Okay, that is 40 into the 24 by 8 to 56, 28. Okay, that is 5120 bytes. Okay, if you check the solution, so we have the block size 4 KB, which is the line size. Main memory 16 GB. Number of bits is 10 bits. Okay. 34 is the total number of bits. Tag takes 10 bits. Okay. So the number of bits in the offset is 12. W we found 12. So this part is tag. We found out as S minus R. This part is W. We found out 12. Number of remaining bits is 12. We found out R as well. Line 12. Now number of lines in cache will be 2 to the power 12. We found the same thing as well. Okay. As the cache memory, 2 to the power 12 multiplied by 4 KB. Did the same thing here. Right? So 16 MB is the memory size of the cache. 16 megabytes. Okay. Tag directory size, to number of bits in the tag 10 bits in the tag multiplied by 2 to the power 12, which is 4 into 1024. 4 into 1024. So it comes to 5120 bytes. Right? This is the tag directory size. I hope that makes sense. So these are all similar sorts of things. Okay. So with that in mind, we will now go and try and solve the ones that were given to us in the program, in a problem, right? That's not the main lecture. Right. The first problem states that we have the cache of 64 kilobytes. We have 64 KB, okay, cache size, which is 2 to the power 6 into 2 to the power 10, 2 to the power 16. Correct? And we have a cache block of 4 bytes. Now, previously we were given a memory block size. Here we are given a cache block size. Okay. Cache block size, which is the cache line size, is equivalent to the memory block size. So here we are given it is 4 bytes. Right? 4 bytes means 2 to the power 2. 2 to the power 2. Right? So my W becomes so my W becomes 2. Okay. So my W becomes 2.
W or R?
W. Cache block size. R is the 2 to the power R is the number of lines in cache. W is 2 to the W is 2 to the power 2 to the power W is the block size of the cache. So if you see this part, block size is 2 to the power W, right? So we have the block size given in the problem. Here in the problem we have the block size is 4 bytes. So 4 bytes is 2 to the power 2. Hence we get W as 2. Right?
Okay.
Next we have the main memory size is 16 megabytes. Okay. Main memory size is 16 megabytes. 16 megabytes is 2 to the power 24. Okay. 2 to the power 24. Now they ask us to find the number of bits required to address the memory. So we have the main memory as 16 megabytes, which we wrote as 2 to the power 24. So we know we need 24 bits to address the memory, right? So if we look at this, okay, we'll find each answer here and then we'll go to the solution. So the first answer is number of bits to address the memory is 24, because 2 to the power 24 is the size of the main memory. Hence, we require 24 bits to address the memory. Okay. Second, number of blocks in the main memory. Okay. We have 16 MB as the size of the memory, and block size is given as 2 to the power. Block size is given as 4 bytes, right? So number of memory blocks is size of the main memory, which is 2 to the power 24, divided by the size of each block, 2 to the power 2, which gives 2 to the power 22. Okay. So we have 4M. 2 to the power 22 is 4M. So we have 4M memory blocks. Each memory block of size 4 bytes. Combining all of them, we get 16 megabytes. Okay. We have 4M memory block. Third, the number of cache lines. Right. We need to find cache lines. We need to find the value of R. Right. We need to find the value of R. Okay. So here we have the size of the main cache, 64 KB. If you divide the entire cache size by the size of each cache line, you can get the number of cache lines here as well. So 64 to the power 16, which is my cache size, okay, divided by my cache line size, which is 4 bytes. That gives me was 14, right? So this is my number. This is the number of lines in the cache. 2 to the power 14 is how much? 2 to the power 14 is 16K. Right? So we have 16K lines in the cache. Yes, please. Somebody was saying something.
Rodrigo, this number of blocks in the main memory, will that be equal to number of cache line size?
No. So as you can see, right, so first of all, the number of blocks in the main memory is the total memory size, which is 2 to the power 24. 16 MB is my memory size, right? 2 to the power 24 divided by the memory size of each block. Now we know that the block size, the memory block size is equivalent to the cache line size, because one block maps to one cache line. Right. So if we divide the entire memory size, by the total number, by the size of each memory block, we get the total number of memory blocks.
Understood. Got
right. And if we divide
so the block size,
the
block size will be equal to cache line size, but the numbers will be different.
Numbers will be different. So see, in your laptop that you have, your memory size would be somewhere around, if I say, but the maximum amount of cache that you might have seen is hardly, the maximum cache I have seen is 12 MB. I have not seen, till now, I have not seen a cache size bigger than 12 MB. 12 MB is huge, right? So, so the number of cache lines will obviously be different from the number of memory blocks, because your cache size differs from your main memory size.
Right. Understood. Got it.
Yeah. So we have that as well. So we found the number of cache lines to be 16K. Okay. So we'll see. I think the first 3 answers are given. Right. So see, we have 24 bits to address the main memory. I hope that is clear. How we got 24, right? 16 MB to the power 24. Hence, to address the entire memory, we need 24 bits. So 24 bits. Okay. Number of blocks in the main memory. Okay. We divided the main memory size by the size of each memory block. This has been given to us. 4 bytes is the cache line size and the memory block size, right? Those are same. We divided them and we got 4M memory blocks. Okay. And then we needed the number of cache lines. So we have the cache size given. Okay. And we have the cache line size given, 4 bytes. So we divided the cache size by the cache line size. Okay, 2 to the power 16 divided by 2 to the power 2, which gives 2 to the power 14. So we get 16K lines in the cache. Alright. Next, we have to find the number of bits required to identify a word in the block. Okay, so we need to find W. So as of now, we have found the number of cache lines. Right. So this is equal to 2 to the power R. 2 to the power R, right? So let me fill up this PPT. So we have W equal to 2. The block size is equivalent to 2 to the power W, right? The 4 bytes is equal to 2 to the power W. W becomes 2. Alright. So we have filled 2 here. My R is the number of lines in the cache. 2 to the power 14. Right? So we have R as 14. Okay. We found out from the main memory that we need 24 bits to address the entire memory. So my S plus my total bits in memory, the address bit size is 24. So out of 24, if 14 plus 2, 16 have already been taken, the remaining part is 8. So we need 8 bits to represent the tag. All right. This is how we found out. We have the total size is 24 because 24 bits are required to address 16 megabytes of memory, which is given to us. We found out the value of W, that is 2, on the block size. Found out the value of R, which is 14, from the number of lines in the cache. Adding these 2 bit number 14 and 2, that is 16, we get, and subtracting it from the total number of bits, we get 8, which is equal to represent the number, equal to the number of tags, the bits for the number for the tag. Right? So W, to identify a word we need, right? We got this one, and the number of bits to identify a block. So to identify a block, we need tag plus line, right? So the word is excluded there. So we need 22 bits. 18 plus 4 is to address the entire block. Tag plus line, 22. And we found a tag line and word as well. So if you look at this, so we need 2 bits to identify a word. We found that 2 bits. Okay. We need 22 bits to identify a block. So excluding the word, we have this part and this part. These two are used to represent the word. 14 plus 8, 22. Okay. So the tag line and word is 8, 14, and 2 respectively. 8, 14, and 2 respectively. I hope that's clear. We'll move to problem 2. Guys, I'll just give a heads up beforehand. Since I am based out of Bengal, there is a cyclone coming near Bengal, and the thunderstorms and all have been going on quite frequently. So if it becomes too frequent, I mean, if the intensity increases, I might have to log off because my system is connected to the starting socket. So I might have.
Where is your home?
My home is in Bardhaman, Bengal.
বর্ধমানে বাড়ি ওকে ওকে
Yeah.
ওকে বাট আমাদের এখানে কলকাতা এখনো সেভাবে শুরু হয়নি
হ্যাঁ তো এখানে এখন happening here at the moment.
ও বাবা
Thunder lightning is not happening, but the thunder is going on quite highly. So if required, so if required, I'll just give a heads up before I disconnect, and I think someone else who can. I think Ananya wanted to take up the data mining class. He can take it up. So till the time I'll carry on. So moving to problem number 2. Moving to problem number 2, we have 2 to the power 16 as the main memory, right? Okay, we have so it's a byte addressable main memory of 2 to the power 16, right? So we'll write that out here. My main memory is 2 to the power 16. 2 to the power 16 is 64 kilobytes. Okay, so 64 kilobytes of main memory I have. So I need 16 bits to represent the entire memory. I'll replace that with 16. Okay. 16 is given to me. The block size is given as 8 bytes. Okay. Now my block size is equal to my cache line size. So I have this as 8. 8 means 2 to the power 3. So from this I found out the value of W. Found out the value of W. Whatever details we can extract, we'll extract in the beginning itself. Okay. So W is 3. What they need to assume that it's a direct map cache consisting of 32 lines with this machine. So they have given me the number of cache lines. They have given me that I have 32 lines in the cache. Okay. 32 can be written as 2 to the power 5. Right. So I found out R as well. Right. So 5 plus 3, 8. 8 bits have been taken already. Out of 16, 8 bits have been taken. The remaining 8 bits become my tag. So based on only these three things, the size, the block size, main memory size, and the cache lines, we can find out the entire tag value. Okay. So they've asked how is the 16-bit memory address divided into a tag, line number, and byte number. So we found out that a 16-bit address is divided as 8, 5, and 3. 8, 5, and 3. How did we find 3? The word size is 8 bytes, to the power 3. W I get 3. The number of cache lines is 32, to the power 5. So I got R as 5. W is 3, R is 5. Total 8 bits. Out of 16 bits, 8 bits have been occupied by R and W. So so the tag becomes 16 minus 8, that is 8 bits. So I get 8, 5, and 3 as my respective separate bits in the entire 16-bit address. Now they want us to check in which lines would the bytes with the following addresses be stored. Okay. Now this part, even I was not clear previously, but yesterday when he showed it became clear. So he showed that we need to follow this particular, since we are using the same machine, right? So we need to follow 8, 5, and 3, this rule, okay, while checking the address of this particular machine. The first address we have is 001, 001, 001, and then 1011. So out of these, my tag is 8, my line is 5, and my word is 3. Yeah. So the word is the rightmost part, as you can see in the PPT, right? The word is the rightmost part. Is the least. So in binary arithmetic, this part is the least. This is the least significant bits, and these are the most significant bits. MSB, LSB. So the word starts from the least significant bit, and the tag starts from the most significant bit. So according to this architecture, 853 architecture, we'll split up. I'll just concatenate all these first. We'll split up the 16 numbers into 8, 5, and 3 parts. So I split 3 here. So this part becomes my word. I split 5 here. This part becomes my line. And this entire 8 bits, this becomes my tag. Now this line will hold the information in which, as to which line of the cache it will go. So they have asked in which line of the cache would the following bytes with the addresses be going. So if I check this particular 5-bit value, binary value, okay, and we all know that in a binary value, the least significant bit starts with 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power what, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4, right? So this is 2 to the power 0 into 1 plus 2 to the power 1 into 1, that is 3. So our first address would go into line number 3. Did that make sense? We are splitting up the 16-bit address into the tag, line, and word bits. And then using the line value.
So this line is basically S plus W is that is the total memory. Line is the cache line size, correct? R.
Not the no. Line is not the cache line size. Line is the number of lines in cache. 2 to the power R is the number of lines in cache. Cache line size.
Okay, got it.
The memory block size equal to 2 to the power W.
2 to the power R is the line, and it is the number of cache lines, correct?
R is not the number of cache lines. R is the number of bits that is used to represent the line, and 2 to the power R
is cache line.
Is the number of cache lines. Yes. Okay. So we will split up the 16-bit memory address into 8, 5, and 3, which is as per our current architecture in the tag, line, and word format, and use the part for the line to derive which line in the cache it would actually go. Okay. Similarly, if you see the next example, we have 11000011, 11000011, and then we have 0011 and 0100. Okay. So we'll split up this one into the same architecture, 8, 5, and 3. So the last 3 goes as word, next 5 goes as line. So here we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. So it becomes 0 into 2 to the power 0 plus 1 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 2, sorry, 2 to the power 2. So this is 4 plus 2. So the second address would go into the line number 6. First address go into third line. Okay. 1101 0000 001 1101. Okay, we'll split it up. 3 for the W word. Okay, this is 5. Okay, 2 to the power 0 into 1 plus 2 to the power 1 into 1, and then rest all as 0, right? So this becomes 2 to the power 1, that is 2 plus 1, that is 3. This also goes in the third line. Okay, the last one is 1010 1010 010. Oh, 010. Weird. Yes. Oh, yeah. Right. Correct. So to the 2 raised to the what that factor that power.
Explain how is that going to be the sixth line, the second one.
I didn't get, okay, sixth line, right? So see, the memory address was this 1100, okay, 0011, 0011 and 0100. So we split up the 16-bit address into the 8, 5 and 3 format, because this is the bifurcation of the tag, line and word in the 16-bit memory, right? So the last 3 bits we used for the word, the next 5 we used for the line, the last 8 we used for the tag. So for finding the cache line number, we use these 5, which is part of the line, right? And we convert this binary in a decimal.
Yeah, got
So,
it.
right? So for the third example, we'll split it up again. For the fourth example, third we have already done. For the fourth example, we split it up as 010 this is the W part.
Line
Okay.
21.
Line 21. Correct. So, okay, we'll just try one more. I thought of this example yesterday. It was not, we couldn't give in the chat. So what if we have something like, if we have something like this. Right. So this is my word. This is 0. So we will use this one to denote the line number, right? This is the denote line. So this becomes 2 to the power 0. This is 1 anyways. So this is 2. 2 plus 4
30.
6. Right? 6 plus 8 is 14. And 15 plus 16, right? 14 plus 30. So we get 30th line. Right? And so in this scenario, since it is a 5-bit, right? We will never get anything more than 32. I think we won't get anything more than 32, because even if this one becomes 1, we'll only get the 31st line. Right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Aditya. I have one question. Already, third line in catch is occupied by one memory, right? Will it be occupied by another memory also, same third line?
No, so as Sir taught us said, right? So in case of direct mapping, if the same memory, so that was a part of the cache hit, cache miss, right? So if the same memory, if the same line is being used again, if the same memory is being referenced and it goes into the same line, it gets overwritten.
Okay.
Gets
Thanks.
overwritten. Right? So this was
this type of this is a type of problem where we have to answer at which what is the line entry where this byte will reside, correct?
right.
Okay.
This
So
memory
they
address.
will always give so many bytes, and they will give all the memory combinations configuration, and we need to find that at which position it is present.
Ideally, that is what has been given here. So they've given its memory configuration in the first 3 lines. Consider its memory bit 2 to the power 16 bytes of memory, and block size is 8 bytes, and you have 32 lines in the cache. So we given the memory configuration, and they tell you find out which line would these bytes reside. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find this particular structure. What is the split between tag line and word? Because if we don't know this, then we can't split up it in any format. I can't split up a random 16-bit word into
Correct.
something like this, right? So if I want, I can be like this is this and this is this, and you go this. I can't do it like this. I need to know the architecture first, how it is being split inside the cache. Okay. Now the next thing he mentioned, so the part C is something I was not completely in agreement with what Sir told yesterday. He told that if a byte with the following address is given, it's stored in the cache. 001. He said if this is stored in the cache, what are the other addresses that are present along with it? What are the other addresses that are present along with it?
Bytes.
Sorry?
It's not asking about the other addresses, it's asking about other bytes. So basically the byte is referenced by the last 3 bits, right?
But if you change the byte, right, it changes the address, right? So all these addresses will be stored in the same location. So if you split it up according to this architecture, so all of them will be stored in line number 3 only. So whatever combination happens here, they all will be in line number 3.
Yes, exactly. So that's why the number of combination we can have with the last 3 bits is the answer for that question.
Right. So yesterday sir mentioned that the number of addresses that we will have will start from 001 all the way up to 111. Right? So we have 001. Exactly, that's what I was telling him yesterday. I asked him, sir, it should start from 000. He told no, it will start from 001, and which is why I was not in agreement with him. Because if he said we will get in total 8 addresses, which is not what we are getting. Because 010, 100, 101, 110, and 111. So if in total we get 7 addresses here. But if we're supposed to get 8 addresses, we need to include 000. So I'm not sure why he told that it needs to start from 001, but what I could see, it should start from 000 because this is also a legitimate address, right? I mean, this is also a legitimate address, and it will be also stored in the line number 3 itself. So I'm not sure why he mentioned that we need to start from 001 itself, but I thought that it should start from 000. Hence, we will get 8 values of 8 bytes or 8 addresses will be stored in the same memory location as the given one. Right. So if we exclude 010, then we will be having 6 if we start from 001, and if we include 000, then we will be having 7 because we are excluding the already existing.
Okay, so based on that, our numbering of line will shift by 1.
Yeah. So the number. So if you have 3 bits to iterate if you have 3 bits to switch, right, from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0, you can have 2 to the power 3 combinations. Number of bits equal to is 2 to the. So number of bits is n. The number of possible combinations is 2 to the power n. 3 bits is 8 combinations. 16 bits is 2 to the power 16 combinations. 2 bits is 4 combinations. Right. So we have 2 bits is 00, 01, 10, and 11. If you have only 1 bit, you can have only 2 combinations, 2 to the power 0 and 1. 3 bits, you can have 8 combinations. 4 bits, you can have 16 combinations, like that. So for finding out it is absolutely essential to find out the tag, line, and word combination so that we can answer the subsequent question. Because if we don't know the split up of the word and the line and all those things, we can't find out which line number is going for which address. We can't find out the number of different addresses which are stored at a particular line.
And I think that number wise there shall be some formula 2 to the power n minus 1. Then this will, so the 0 will not be considered because first line 0 0 for memory line, it is kept probably when we calculate line.
Yeah, but
it is a binary number.
But this is also a valid memory address, right? So
No,
by
but when you consider the last significant number, no, that means at the last node, rightmost. So 0 0 0 will not set a pointer to any specific position. So to calculate the line, most probably somewhere I have studied that 2 to the power n minus 1, that is say anything. If it is 16, then we will consider 15 lines, something like that. I cannot recollect it entirely, but
I think why this 2 to the power n minus 1 is because they start from 0. So if you start from 0 and you go up to 2 to the power n minus 1, then you get total 2 to the power n lines. So it's similar to going from 2 to the 0 to 7, you get 8 lines.
Yes, and the number of line says 0 line. This we need to explore.
Okay. I didn't get that. Can you come again? The voice was cracking.
Yeah, this thing we need to explore once. That the first by 0, what it happens.
I think we can post it in the discussion forum once to check why we are excluding 0 in the first place.
And we can post it in a common forum so that the teacher from other section also can answer.
Yeah, we can ask it in the main course discussion forum, provided someone answered.
Yes.
Right. So yeah.
Actually, that 2 to the power n minus 1 is for the decimal calculation. Like if you have the 3 bits, then from 0 to what number you have to go. So that is 2 to the power n minus 1. So 0 to 7 will be the decimal values.
Right. 0 to 7 will give you 8 combinations, and similar to 0 to 15 will give you 16 combinations, and so on.
Yeah.
And whenever we are converting this to line, then it is decimal only, no?
Yes. So when you are since this is binary, right? So if you are converting 0 1 0 to this is binary. So if you are converting into decimal, you will be doing 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 0 multiplied by 0 plus 2 to the power of 1 multiplied by 1 and plus 2 to the power of 2 multiplied by 0. So you will be getting first two is 0 plus second one is 2 and last one is 0. So you will be getting 2. If you are doing the same thing for hexadecimal, so this entire thing will be on the power of 16.
16.
Right, and if you are doing it on the octal part, it will be on the power of 8.
8.
So on and so forth. So yeah. So this covered the third part as well. So I mean, which line? So you iterate from 001 supposedly for now until we get a clarity on this. You iterate from 001 to 111 because the last 3 bits that are being used here is used to identify the word. Okay, and the last 3 bits currently are being used here, and the 5 that are present denote the line. So for all these addresses, for any address from this to this, from this to this, all of these have the same line number, which includes this one as well. I hope that is clear. All of these addresses have the same line number 3. Okay. Right. Okay. Next we have how many total bytes of memory can be stored in the cache. Okay. So we have the Yeah, sorry, someone was coming in. All right. So how many total number of bytes memory can be stored in the cache? So we have the value of R, W, and S and tag, right? So total number of the value of R is 5. So from here we can identify that my number of lines is 32. Okay. From W I can find out, I know that my cache block size is 8. Okay. So if I multiply my number of cache lines with my size of the cache line, I get the total size of the cache. Right? I get that. So that becomes 32 into 8, which is 256. So and they're adding the total bytes in this total bytes, they're adding the tag bits as well. Okay. So tag is occupying how many bits? So occupying 8 bits. So 32 bytes. So 32 lines. I'll explain that part as well. So 32 lines in the cache. Okay. Block size is 8 bytes. Okay. You multiply that, you get 256 bytes. This is excluding the tag. Total bytes in the cache is 256 bytes, excluding the tag. Now the tag obviously takes up some space. So if you have to find the space including the tag, so you need to come here. Your tag size is 8 bits. Okay. The tag directory size will be 8 bits multiplied by the number of lines in the cache, is 32. So this gives you 256 bytes. Okay. Divided by 8, so bits, 256 bits, and divided by 8, that gives you 32 bytes. I hope this part is clear. Tag is 8 bits. Cache line, number of cache lines 32. Total number of bits for the tag, that is the tag directory size, is 32 into 8 bits. Multiply that, so divide that with 8, you get number of bytes 32. So you have 32 bytes allocated for your tag directory size. You have your cache size as your cache lines, number of cache lines is 32, multiplied by your cache block size is 8 bytes. Right? So 256 bytes. The total cache size will be the excluding tag bit, this part, and then you include the tag directory as well. Okay, 288 bytes. First part is excluding the tag bit. This is only the cache lines into the size of the cache. Okay? And then you add a tag directory size as well, and then you get 288. Okay. And this is a descriptive question, why is the tags put in the cache? So okay, a direct map cache. So we will again go and use all of this. This cache block cache. Let's delete it. I have a direct mapped cache with 64 cache lines. Okay. My number of lines in cache is 64. It has been given to 64 cache lines. Okay. Now I know the number of lines of cache is equal to the power r. Right. 64 is to the power 6. Right. And my r becomes 6 of this. Okay, r becomes 6. Okay. Next, what I have been given? I have been given the block size is 16 bytes. The block size, the memory block size is equal to the cache line size, right? So my block size equal to cache line size is 16 bytes, which is equivalent to the power 4. Okay. From here, I get W because the block size is equal to the power W, right? So I get W from here. I'll replace that. W is 4. Okay. And a main memory of 8 kilobytes. Okay, they are specifying it's a byte addressable memory, not a word addressable memory, it's a byte addressable memory. Main memory is 8 kilobytes. So main memory is 8 KB. Now 8 KB can be written as 2 to the power 3 into 2 to the power 10, that is 2 to the power 13. Okay. So my main memory is 2 to the power 13, hence my total span across the entire thing is 2 to the power 13. Out of 13 bits, which is my entire address length, I have 6 bits allocated to the line, I have 4 bits allocated to the word. The remaining 3 bits will be allocated to the tag. So my split up becomes 3, 6 and 4. Okay. Now they have asked to what line number does the byte address 1200H map. Now when it says H, they are saying it's a 6. So this, since this is a 16 byte, this is a, so 1200H, they are saying it's a 16-bit address line. Okay, but we'll only consider 13 bits from the right. Okay, so if I write down this address, I'm removing all of this. Listen. Tag we found out is 3, line we found out is 6, and word we found out is 4. Now we have been given 1200H. So each, this is the hex, this was hex, right? It is a 16-bit address. So we will write each number in a 4-bit representation, making 16 bits in total. First number is 1. 1 can be written as 0001. 2 will be 0010. 2 to the power 0 into 0 plus 2 to the power 1 into 1. The rest all are 0, right? This is 2. 2 to the power 0 into 1. This is 1. So 0001, this is 1. 0010, this is 2. This is 2. And then rest we have zeros. This is our entire 16-bit address. Out of the 16-bit address, they have told that we only need to use the 13 bits. Because our main memory's address length is 13 bits, right? So that we have in the cache. We don't need the last 3 bits. Okay. Now these 13 bits will split up in the tag, line and word format. Okay. So we'll go, these 4 are the words, these 6 are the tags, and the last 3 are the, so these 6 are the lines and the last 3 are the tag. So from this, if we, this is a binary number, right? 6-bit binary number. If we convert this to decimal, we get 2 to the power 0 into 0, 2 to the power 1 into 0, 2 to the power 2 into 0, 2 to the power 3 into 0, 2 to the power 4 into 0, and plus 2 to the power 5 into 1. 2 to the power 5 is 32. This will go in the 32nd line. Okay. I hope that made sense.
Yes, got it. Rather, one thing, what is the significance of writing this byte addressable memory in that question?
So the byte addressable memory means that you would be calculating everything in respect of bytes, I believe, because yesterday when he was, when word addressable memory came up, he converted all of the byte values into words. And just
Right.
and one more thing, good you brought up that point. I didn't see who brought it up. I think Ananya. I'm not sure who brought it up. Ananya, I think. When they're using the terminology word here, they are referring to one word as 4 bytes. So 1 byte is 8 bits. Okay, universally accepted. And if you look up on the internet, you will see that one word is actually 2 bytes, and one double word is 4 bytes. But in our scenarios, yesterday sir told that for our sake, unless and until specified, we will consider one word as 4 bytes. One word will be equal to 4 bytes. Okay. So when it is word addressable, he is converting all of the bytes into specific words. So your block size is given as 16 bytes. It will become 4 words. Okay. Your memory is given as 8 kilobytes. It will become 2 kilo word, and like that. Similar in that scenario.
Got it. Got it.
Got it? Yeah. Address word. What is the size of the cache? Okay. So this problem states. Okay, we'll remove this one entirely. So I hope these examples are giving you a clear idea as to how you can calculate or compute these numericals, right? I mean, I'm not sure if such simple ones will be given out, but if they are given, then remembering. So essentially, you need to remember the couple of formulas. If you are given the block size, it will be equal to the cache line size, and you can immediately find out W. Okay. If you are given the number of lines in the cache, you can immediately compute R, because the number of lines in the cache is equivalent to 2 to the power R. Okay. If you are given the total memory size, you can compute the total number of total address bit length. It can be 32, 26, anything. Total tag plus line plus word, total thing you can find out. It is 2 to the power of something, which will be equal to the total memory size. Okay. Once you find out the tag, the line, and the word, if there is any address given to you for which you need to find line number in the cache, you can segregate that n number of bits which is given here, right? For in a previous example, it was a 16-bit address. We split it up into 8, 5, and 3. We separated the 3-bit word. We separated the 8-bit tag, and the 5-bit we got in between for the line. We used that and converted it to decimal to find the line number. Okay. In our case, this has been given that it is a 32-bit address. Okay, it's given in the initial only 32-bit address. So my S plus W becomes 32. You can see from the address as well, it is 0 to 31. So that is 32. So my word takes 0 to 3, which is 4 bits. 0 to 3 is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 bits. My word goes for 4. Line goes from 4 to 14, which is 11. Okay. So 11 plus 4 is 15. So the remaining 17 will go to tag. So as you can see from the last part, 1531 is tag. So last 17 bits will go to the tag. 17, 11, and 4. This is a split up for the entire 32-bit address. Okay. What is the size of the cache line? Okay. What is the size of the cache line? Now, from here we have. Okay, I'll go up there and try to compute all of this. We have been given the value of R as 11, right? R is 11. So we know the number of lines in cache is 2 to the power R, 2 to the power 11. Okay, which gives 2 KB. So my 2 KB. So my number of lines in cache is 2K. Okay. I have W equal to 4. Now I know 2 to the power W is my block size or cache line size. Right? So block size equal to cache line size will be equal to 2 to the power W, which in this case would be 2 to the power 4 equal to 16 bytes. Okay. So I have my number of lines in cache. I have the size of the cache line. So if I multiply both of them, 2K into 16 into 2K. So I get my total cache size as 32 KB. I hope this is clear. Okay. How many cache lines are there? We found out. Okay. How much space is required to store the tags for the L1 cache? Okay. Basically, they're asking the tag directory size. How much space is required to store the tags, right? So total space for the tag is how much bits the tag occupies. The tag occupies 17 bits. So you have 17 multiplied by what is the number of lines in your cache? number of lines in your cache is 2k. Okay, so you have 34k bits. Okay, so if you convert that to bytes, it will be different because 32, 34, 32 divided by 8. 1024 by 8 would give you 128 to 128 into 34. Around that. Okay. 434. 4 and 6, 3, 5, something around 5, 6, 7,600, something around that. Okay. So this is for my tags. And if they ask what is the total capacity of the cache including tag storage, I will add this amount, which is my tag directory size, to my cache size. Okay. Now, how will I find my cache size? I have the block size, which is 16 bytes. Okay, I will multiply. I found out the cache size somewhere, right? Yeah. So my cache size is 32 KB, and I will add 32 KB with my tag directory size, which is this, and I will find the total number of total storage including tag. You see, cache line is 16 bytes. That is the cache line. So we found out that 16 bytes. Okay. Number of cache lines is 2 to the power k. Okay. Number of cache lines 2 to the power k. Okay. How much space is required for the tag bits? 34k bits. Okay. Found out number of tag bits is 34k bits. And if I convert it to bytes, so it will be divided by 8. 34k bits, right? And the space including tag storage would be 34k bits plus 32k bytes. 32k bytes is my total cache size, excluding tag directory, and including tag directory it will be 32k bits plus 32k bytes. Okay, hope that is clear. Now we will check out the hit and miss ratio. You guys have any doubts regarding the cache calculation part? Right. I think for the calculation ratio, I give everything, sir. Here. Yeah. So yeah. They say it has 16 bytes of main memory. Okay. 16 bytes main memory. So okay, main mem 16 bytes, right? 16 bytes. That becomes 2 to the power 4. Okay. My memory block size is mem block size is 4 bytes. Okay, that becomes 2 to the power 2. Okay, cache is 8 bits. Cache size 8 bytes. Sorry, 8 bytes to the power 3. Okay, so from here you can see that first we know mem block size equal to cache line size. Okay. So from here, if we divide, so number of lines in cache, okay, will basically be equal to right bytes. Imagine this is all in bits, all in bytes, right? So imagine that. The number of cache lines would be the cache size divided by the cache line size. So you'll have this divided by this. So you have two cache lines, which can be seen here as well. Cache is 2 lines of 4 bytes each. Cache line size equal to the memory block size. Okay. Now they are saying that the block access sequence is in this order, 0, 2, 2, 0, 0, like this. Okay. So this order sequence that is given, this is essentially the block number. Okay. So I will visualize my cache as this is line 0 and this is line 1. Okay, and I will fill up my data here. Okay. So zero. So yeah. So I am writing this one. I am writing as cache hit or miss. Cache hit or miss. Okay. So the assumption here is when the blocks first come in, my cache is empty. So imagine this to be imagine that your laptop is brand new. Okay, the laptop is brand new. It has no data essentially, right? So I'm not saying it has no data. It has some data, but for this hypothetical scenario, consider that your cache does not have the frequently accessible things that you want. So suppose you use Microsoft Word too often, right? So similar to that, it will store some frequently used instructions in the cache, right? So initially, when there is nothing has been used for the first time, the cache will be blank. So the first assumption is the cache is blank when the first address block comes in. So the first address block will be a miss. Okay. So when it comes in 0, so my number of cache lines is 2. Okay. So this should ideally go to, now the formula for deriving the line number is, if I don't have the split up between R and all those things, right? So it was the block number modulo the cache number of cache lines. Alright. So this is modulo number of cache lines. So my number of cache lines is 2. So my block number is 0. So 0 modulo 2 is 0. So it will go to L0. Okay. My L1 remains blank. It's a cache miss. Now the next time when the block number 2 comes up, it will see 2 modulo 2. 2 modulo 2, it will again go to 0. But 0 already has the value 0 there, right? The data for the block 0. It will override it with 2. And since it did not find 2 in the first place, this will also be a cache miss. Okay. Next time, again the 0 comes up. Okay, it searches in the cache. It looks here. The data for 0 is not found. It becomes a cache miss. And it overrides the value of block 2 with block 0. Now, again, block 2 comes in. 2 modulo 2, 0. It will check if it is present in line 0 or not. If it doesn't find, it becomes a cache miss. And it will override the value of block 0 with block 2. This time, when the next block 2 comes in, it will first derive the line number. The 2 modulo 2 is 0. It will check in line 0. And it will find the data for block number 2 is already present. This becomes a cache hit. Okay. And 2 stays there. Next, 0 comes in. The data for 0 is not present in line 0. This becomes a cache miss. 2 is overwritten by 0. Okay. Again 0 comes in. The data for 0 is present in line 0. This becomes a cache hit. 0 stays there. The data for line 2 comes in. 2 is not present in line 0. This becomes a cache miss. And 2 overwrites 0. 0 comes in. Cache miss. 0 overwrites 2. 0 comes in. Cache hit. 0 stays there. Again 0 comes in. cache hit, 0 stays there. 2 comes in, 2 is not present there in the L0 cache, right? So it overwrites 0 with, this is the cache miss first of all, and it overwrites 0 with 2. Now when 1 comes in, 1 modulo 2 is 1. It will search in line, it search in the line number 1 of the cache. It is not present anywhere. So it will denote this as a cache miss and store 1 here. Now we have total 13 instances. Okay. Out of 13, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have 4 cache hits and 9 cache misses. Right?
Rodhrav, can you please repeat this concept why everything went to line 0 and only 1 came to line 1?
I will, sure. So, this is the block number. So, he has told in that this is the block sequence. Which block number is coming? So, if you go up, we just find out that, yeah, if you see this, let me know once you guys are able to see the direct mapping page.
Yes, we can see this.
So, I is a line number in which the cache line number in which my data will be stored, or from which my data will be fetched, right?
Okay.
J is the block number which is coming from the memory.
Okay.
And M is the total number of lines in the cache.
Understood. Got it.
So, if this would have been say 5, it would have gone to line number 1. Because 5 modulo 2 is 1. Right? For all of these from 0 to 2, since these are all even numbers, right? And even modulo 2 is 0, hence they are all going to line 0.
Line 0. Got it.
This is odd, so this modulo 2 is 1. 2, why 2? Because 2 is the number of lines in the cache.
Understood.
Right?
Understood.
So in this scenario, we get 4 hits and 9 misses. So my cache hit ratio is 4/13. I hope. Yeah, this is 4/13. You can find the percentage, etc. No worries. I hope this cache hit and cache miss, cache miss ratio is clear. How it is checking cache hit and cache miss. Right? Okay. Next we have a 1024 byte cache. So my cache size is 1024 bytes. So this becomes 2 to the power 10. Okay. It has an access time of 0.1 microseconds. Okay. Don't go by all this. Delete this one. Okay. It says that my cache access time is 0.1 microseconds. Okay. And my main memory stores 1 megabytes. So my main memory size is 1 megabyte, which is 1024 into 1024. Okay. So that becomes 2 to the power 20. Okay. And the main memory access time is 1 microsecond. The cache access time is 0.1 microsecond, and main memory is 1 microsecond, which makes sense because cache access is way faster than main memory access, right? That is why cache is used in the first place, to increase the access time. Improve the performance, decrease the access time rather. Okay, improve the performance. A reference memory block that is not in cache must be loaded into the cache. Okay. So what is the number of bits needed to address the main memory? Okay. We have main memory as 1 megabyte. Okay. 1 megabyte can be written as 2 to the power 20. So the number of lines, number of address bits required to address my main memory becomes 20. Okay. We need 20 bits to address the main memory. Why? Because 2 to the power 20 is 1 megabyte, which is my main memory size. Cool. Next is, if the cache hit ratio is 95%, what is the access time for memory reference. Okay. So scenario 1 is I find my cache. I find the data in my cache. Okay. If I find the data in cache, my main memory will not be accessed. Okay. Not accessed. Okay. Hence, I am not spending those 1 microseconds that is being used to access the main memory. Instead, I am only spending the 0.1 microsecond that is used to access the cache if I find my data in cache. Okay. Cache is accessed. Scenario 2. Data is not in cache. Main memory is accessed. Okay. And I'm not sure who raised the question yesterday, but someone raised the question yesterday that when the data is not in cache, the processor checks in the cache first. It's a cache miss. The processor posts the main memory, fetches the data, comes back, loads the data into the cache for next referencing, and then loads it into the processor. So the person asked, which I had the same query as well. So when we are coming back from the main memory and we are loading it in the cache, shouldn't we add that cache access time as well? Okay, but for that scenario, sir mentioned that this is being done parallelly. The accessing of the main memory for fetching the data and loading it into the cache is being done in a parallel sequence. Okay, so that 1 microsecond essentially includes the the time that is being used to write the data from the memory into the cache, and then the rest part is coming into the processor. Okay, so in this scenario, we have 95% cache hit. Okay, so for the 95% of the time, this will be happening, and 5% of the time this will be happening. Okay, my time here is 0.1 microsecond, and my time here is 1 microsecond. Okay, so if I have to find a total access time, I need to multiply that probability. I mean the total times this particular thing has been accessed. So 0.1 into 0.95, and my cache. So this becomes 0.95. And this becomes 1 minus 0.95, which is basically equal to 0.05. Okay, so it becomes 0.95 into 0.1 microsecond total access time. So first we're taking the cache hit time. So cache hit time is 0.95 is the cache hit ratio multiplied by the cache access time. Okay, plus now we're taking the cache miss part. 0.05, which is 1 minus 0.95, 1 minus cache hit, multiplied by the memory access time. What you get here is actually the entire time for referencing. So 0.95 is actually your cache hit ratio, cache hit percentage, right? That's multiplied by the cache access time, because when you're hitting the cache, you're only accessing the cache. You don't need to access the main memory. You'll only spend the time that is used to access the cache, which is 0.1 microsecond. 0.95 into 0.1 microsecond is the total time that is used for the cache hit every time the cache is hit. And 1 minus hit ratio, that is 0.05, is the time. So this will be 1 plus. Why it will be 1 plus? Because first you're checking the cache. I did a mistake here. My bad. This will be 1 plus 0.1. Sorry, not 1 plus 1. This will be 0.1 plus 1.
Raghav, it will be 0.95 into 0.1, right?
Sorry, I gave 0.01. My bad, typo. Yeah, 0.1. 0.1. The access time is 0.1 second, right? So 0.95 into 0.1. That was a typo, sorry. Okay. So this is the cache hit ratio into cache access time. So this includes all the time when the cache is being hit. Total time the cache is being accessed for a cache hit scenario is 0.95 into 0.1. Now we come to the cache miss scenario. cache miss scenario is cache miss time, which is 1 minus cache hit. Okay? So 0.05 is the cache miss percentage, multiplied by every time a cache miss happens, first the processor comes to the cache in search in a hope that, okay, I will find my cache, I will find my data here, so I don't have to go to the main memory. So this 0.1 is for the initial cache access that the processor does before going to the main memory if it's a cache miss. So when the cache miss happens, the processor comes to the cache memory first, tries to find the data. Do you have the data here? The cache says, sorry boss, I don't have. Okay. Then it proceeds to the main memory to find the actual data. So this 0.1 is spent anyway, be it a cache hit or a cache miss, this 0.1 will always happen. In the case of cache miss, this 1 will happen because this is the main memory access time. If the cache miss happens, the processor has to go to the main memory to fetch the data. So this 0.1 is the cache access time added with the 1 microsecond, which is the memory access time. That multiplied by the cache miss ratio will give you the entire cache miss time. When we add these two together, you get 0.15 microseconds, which is the total time inclusive of cache hit and cache miss. I hope that's clear. Right. And then we come to associative mapping. Associative mapping, from what I understood, is basically like a linear search. It will search all the respective things. It will start from, so if you see the comparison, right? So the main memory tag that is coming from the processor. So as I mentioned, right, direct mapping has the concept of tag, line, and word, but associative cache mapping has a concept of tag and word. You see the tag here and the word here. Okay, so only these two things. So the memory that is coming from the processor will be compared as in a comparator along with all the tags that are present inside the associative cache, because associative direct mapping cache says that your one block will be assigned to one cache line in a consecutive manner, sequential manner. Okay, and like think of it like an array, continuous memory allocation. Okay, and associative mapping says, I don't care where you stay, you can stay anywhere, you're free to stay, like a linked list. In that scenario, since DSAD was quite clearer, right, in that aspect, so it can go anywhere. So when comparing the memory address, it will compare the address of the memory tag, the tag of the memory address, sorry, with all the tags that are present inside the cache. That is why it is mentioned that it's a very intensive process. It's a very expensive process, resource intensive process, because it compares one memory tag to all the memory tags, like a linear search, right? For linear search, the complexity is O(n), binary it is O log n, right? So similar in that case. So it searches all the respective tags in the cache lines, and that's why it has to iterate through each of the individual lines, and hence it becomes very expensive. And it can be loaded into any line. Okay. And same thing, if it finds a hit, it will load the line from the cache. If it finds a miss, it will load from the main memory. Similar concept here, one block to one line. Okay, so the formulas remain the same. Yeah.
Rather, one thing, like in this also we are searching our word with the help of tag, and in the directive mapping also we are searching the word with the help of tag, right? So in that case also we will be searching through each of the tags. So we have to traverse through every tag.
We use the line reference there. That is why direct mapping has tag, line, and word.
Right. Got it. Yes.
Here there is no concept of line.
Correct.
Right. So the formulas remain almost the same, except the last line. And also this one, you cannot determine the number of lines because there is no R present here, right? So the size of the tag previously was S minus R. So since there is no R here, it's only S. So S plus W. If the address length is S plus W, and W is a number of bits for the word, then you have only two parts, right? You have tag and you have word. So if W is word, then you have S as the tag length. Okay. Number of blocks in the main memory, 2 to the power S plus W by 2 to the power W. Okay. So number of the block size is equal to cache line size, same 2 to the power W. Similar thing as direct mapping. Okay. So if you try this, do it in the Excel this time. Let me know if this visible to you guys, right? The Excel. Right.
Yes.
Right. So we have the cache of 128 KB. Okay. So I'll go. Cache is 128 KB. So 128 multiplied by 1024. Okay. So we can write this one as 2 raised to the power of 32, 64, 17. Right. This is 2 to the power 17 cache size. Okay. The cache block is of 8 bytes. Now we know cache block is equal to memory block. Okay. Equal to 8 bytes. Okay. We will find the number of cache lines, and we have
Should we
32
take a break?
Can we? Yeah, sure. 108. Let me know when you guys want to reconvene.
It's been 2 hours and you have not taken even water.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, we guys can take a break. I'll have some. Yeah, we can take a break as of now. Okay, and then when we come back, we can continue from here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on mute and let me know when you guys are gonna come back.
You can also pause the recording.
Yeah, no, please pause the recording so that we don't take up unnecessary space. Space is very much in trend these days.
Ananya, how are you doing this recording? Ananya?